Gonna go ahead and get started. If you haven't already, we're taking attendance so we can track who's here and who's not. So there's a QR code, but then also you can go to the link. If the QR code isn't working, just go ahead and make sure that we know that you're here. And the next thing is the agenda for today. I'm going to go over the agenda pretty quickly, and we did the attendance already. We're going to have a welcome message from our president, Alex, and then we're going to go into a couple introductions again. And then we have a guest speaker, Dr. Bell from the graduate schools here. He's going to talk a little bit. We have a constitutional revision that we have to go over, and then we're going to talk a little bit budget stuff, and then we're going to go over different committees that we need representation on. So we'll get to that in a second. And then our closing speaker is our former president, Naglaa. So she's gonna end out the day today. So I'm gonna pass it over to Alex, who's going to start us.
Hi, everyone on Zoom. Hello. My name is Alexander. I use he, him pronouns. I'm excited to be this year's GSA president. I've been involved with GSA for about 3 years now. So started out as a senator, student relations chair, and then kind of making my way up following Naglaa's lead, which you'll hear a lot from her later. I'm a PhD student in nanoscience. I don't know, I'm not going to talk too much about my dissertation, but that's okay. So yeah, my goal for GSA this year is sort of to kind of be a voice for graduate students. You know, we do a lot of programming, but there are a lot of other places on campus and in the community that, you know, we need to hear from graduate students. You know, we want to be an advocate for you. You know, often like I'm the only student in the room, you know, undergrad or graduate. So it's kind of hard to be a voice when we don't hear from you all, you know, the senators in the assembly. So kind of my goal this year is to encourage you all to speak up. You know, what do your departments need? What can we do as an institution? You know, how do we advocate for graduate students? I want to be that voice. I need your help. You know, I've been happy doing this job for 3 years, you know, working with the executive board. You know, I've seen a lot of talented graduate students come and go. So I want to, you know, work on your behalf, but I need your voice too. So I'll keep it brief since we started late, but yeah, if you guys have any questions, please see us, email us, reach out to us. If you're interested, you know, in being more involved, step up. Like, you know, no question is a small question. Thank you. Unless you guys have questions now, but we'll do
it. So we were discussing the introduction. We kind of introduced ourselves last week when we met for the new student orientation, but we're just going to review the executive board, and then we're also going to point out our faculty advisor. She's not able to be here with us for this meeting, but if you have any questions or anything, we have Alex as our president. I'm Amanda. I'm the vice president. You hear from me probably often. Krista Mater, sorry, is our treasurer. So if you have any budget questions or anything like that. And then Ashley Loper Nowak is our student relations. So she kind of does the face of the social media and sort of that student front. So that's the executive board. And then our advisor is Dr. Adrienne Craig, and she's the Associate Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. So if you have any questions, reach out to any of us. So that's quick and simple. That's what we're introducing. And our next speaker, our goals and vision for 2022 and 2023. We're gonna, what's that? Yeah. We're gonna continue building our GSA community. We're supporting our grad students, and then we're gonna highlight and empower. So we have a link on our GSA website where you can throw a shout out to something that you might have done, or if one of your, if you know someone that you're working with has done something that needs to be highlighted, you can put those in there. Okay, and then our next speaker is going to be Dr. Bell. Thank you.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon in Zoom land. Where is the camera? Oh, way back there. Hi. Okay. So it's a what's that?
I should have left the screen up so you can
Oh.
hear.
I've seen myself enough. I'm fine. It's a pleasure to be here, to see all of you all. Those of you who have been involved with GSA for a few years know that I used to be one of the advisors, and the good old days. So it's always great to be back, with GSA. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Greg Bell. I use he, him, his pronouns. I am professor of mathematics, and I'm serving currently as the interim dean of the graduate school. So I am your dean as graduate students. My role on campus and the role of the graduate school on campus is to do everything that you see at the undergraduate level that's happening across all the different campuses. So we're the registrar, and we're the finance office in many cases, and we do all of the recruiting programming, and Dustin's helped us with that sort of thing. So we're sort of a one-stop shop for all of your graduate student needs. I've been at UNC Greensboro for, I guess this is my 18th year. So this is my 18th fall at UNCG, and fall is my favorite time of year. For me, it's like the new year. I know that the new year really happens, some other time, but for me, this is New Year. This is the day, this is the time of year when anything seems possible. It's like you hit a big refresh button, and you can start to work on those big goals. You had a little bit of time to either work or relax over the summer, maybe, hopefully a little bit of both, and anything seems possible. So I'm excited about fall. I'm excited to be here with you all. I want to second what Alexander said, that you all as GSA senators are really the voice of graduate students on campus. So the things that we do in my office, we know that we want to hear from you all. We want to hear whether things are working, whether things are standing in your way. We certainly don't want to put up barriers to your success, but we need to know about those barriers, because we always have the greatest of intentions, but we know where that leads. I saw that there were some goals of the GSA just a moment ago, and I just want to mention one of my goals for the GSA, and I'm not trying to give anybody any work, so don't interpret it that way. But number one is to speak with Alexander. Alexander is on the Graduate Council. The Graduate Council is the body that's very much like the Faculty Senate. So anything to do with graduate curriculum, regardless of the department or program you're in, anything to do with graduate policy. So that's policy that affects all of you all as graduate students. That all goes through the Graduate Council. So whether it's things like, why is the dissertation deadline where it is? Why do I have to pay a graduation fee? Why do I have to have so many members on my committee? All these sorts of things, all these questions that you may have, there are reasons for these things. But if they're not working, we need to know about that. Talk with Alexander, and he can communicate that to the faculty on that committee, and help to shape your time here. So the real goal that I have, though, I think, and maybe I will have to say thank you for having me speak before Naglaa, because I couldn't follow her. Like, I think that's why she's at the end, because no one can follow Naglaa. So I'm sure that was intentional. They were like, yeah, nobody wants to stand up and speak after Naglaa. But when we were working together, I think that the GSA became a really great organization, really great social organization, really great events. There's the Graduate Student Appreciation Week in spring, which I hope you all will participate in. It's a really great event. Well, I say event, but it's a week-long event, week plus some. But my goal for this year is to facilitate communication between my office and you all as graduate students. One of the things that I've seen is that a lot of the barriers to communication occur because we're not sure what's possible. Graduate students aren't always sure what's possible. Can I change my committee at this point? You know, I'm working with a faculty member, it's not going well. Can I do something about that, or am I stuck? And I think that sense of uncertainty drives a lot of anxiety, and I want to alleviate that as much as possible. But my goal, I'm getting there eventually, is to think about maybe a graduate student bill of rights or something like that. Lots of universities have these sorts of things, and it just sets everybody's expectations to the appropriate, to be appropriate, so that you know that yes, you are empowered to change committee. You are empowered to say, my time with my faculty member is not working out well. I have the option to do something about that. I can be proactive. I don't have to be swept along with the current. So that's what I'm hoping for. But of course, you know, I always want to hear from you all and what you would like to see. I've probably taken all of my time, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you all have. If there are questions in Zoom land, hi Zoom land. I'm happy to answer those. But otherwise, I just want to say welcome and see you all. It's been a while since I've actually been in a room with graduate students. Okay, I did orientation a few weeks ago, but you know, that, yeah. Okay, couple minutes for questions. Anything? Yeah.
Yeah. Is Minerva mailbox still a thing? I couldn't look on the website. You couldn't find it. You talked about like
Yeah.
concerns outside of GSA.
So Minerva's mailbox disappeared. It doesn't have to disappear. It can come back. What we found is that people were treating it like a chat feature. So we were getting things like, how do I register for classes? Who is my program director? So I think we just have to be clearer about what it is, but we can certainly bring it back. Yeah. Is there a question in chat?
Someone wants to know what is Minerva's mailbox.
Yeah, okay, so very good. Yeah, I should have started with that, sorry. So Minerva's mailbox is an anonymous Qualtrics form that you can fill out, and it'll send an email to me and to a couple of other people at the graduate school. So if there's something you want to share with us, but you don't want to send us an email, or you don't want to call us or anything like that, that was a mechanism to do that. But like I said, it was on the web page, but it was sort of hidden in some way. And so it wasn't, we have to figure out a better way to make that a reality.
Was it anonymous?
It was, yeah. I mean, is anything electronic anonymous? I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question, but you know, there was no way to easily tell. But there was an option that you could leave your email. And so the other sort of thing that would happen is people would say something and not leave an email. And then I don't know what to do with that necessarily. Yeah, I mean, and sometimes it's, you know, they just want to make me aware of that, and that's fine. But yeah, it's a great question.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Bell. This is Rose Ewald.
Hi, Rose.
Hi. If we want to volunteer for this committee about the Graduate Student Bill of Rights, how would we do that?
I don't know. That's something that I like I said, I'm not trying to make any more work for anybody, but you know, yeah, it's just an idea at this stage. So it wouldn't be in my office, you know. Okay. Okay. So your GSA officers are saying they can do it. You know, and like I said, there are many examples of these across the university, across the nation. If you just Google Grad Student Bill of Rights, you'll see them everywhere. And you know, we don't have one. I think it might be a good idea to have one.
I fully agree. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Any questions? Okay. All right. Well, great to see you. Thanks for your time.
Okay.
Mm. Well, they can still do it.
Yeah. Because just.
Yeah. So the next thing on the agenda is when I was working with Lexi last year to get our organization approved through UNCG. We had to submit our constitution. They reviewed it and they came back to us saying we were missing a important piece. And that piece is membership removal. So I had to very quickly just talk with the e-board and get this documentation submitted so we can be approved as an organization. But we need a approval from the Senate to make this official. This wording comes straight from the CAP office, so I kind of just grabbed it. It sounds great. And I don't see any reason to change this unless someone sees an issue with it. But this is similar to pretty much all the other organizations on campus. They have to have this in their constitution in case there's any issues with members. So are there any objections to accepting this as a amendment to our constitution? Not in the room. Is there any on Zoom? Yeah, absolutely.
On the body, I mean, can somebody reform the entire?
Yeah, so, do you mind?
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is just general housekeeping. I think in our constitution, it says all graduate students are kind of de facto members. You know, you, the senators, represent them, but, you know, we act on behalf of all graduate students. So it's kind of like, this is just something they were like, you know, you don't get all the benefits of a group on campus if you don't have this, you know, you don't check all these boxes. So this is what this suffices. I can't, you know, we represent all students. We're a fee funded organization. So it's not, you know, we can't be like, sorry, we won't represent you anymore. But yeah, this is just general housekeeping. So, you know, we're still going to advocate on behalf of students.
And it doesn't say it's permanent. Like
Yeah.
there's not that explicit, like they're shunned forever. So I think this wasn't in the Constitution before. So I think if something came up and there were a situation where we would need to remove someone, there wouldn't be any guidelines at all. So I think for that permanent sort of situation, we'll play it by situation. But here, this is just general guidelines that are a good way to follow for now, or in general. Yeah.
Thank you.
On the constitution online, if it's not already.
It already is.
Okay.
But to make it right now, I forget how it's temporary until we can finally fully eradicate it. But other than this, the rest of the Constitution, it hasn't changed. No objections?
And there are questions, would you mind just repeating them?
Yes.
Yeah.
From now on?
Yeah.
Okay.
We kind of don't have a choice because this is required by campus activities and programs in order to be a student group.
That's
If we
correct.
say we don't want to put this in there, then we will be dropped as a student group.
That's correct. We could rewrite it and resubmit and have it approved. If we wanted to, we could form a constitutional review committee and we could review the whole Constitution and redo it. That's an option. We've had discussions about like the funding percentages that are in the Constitution now, maybe like adjusting those. So if that's something that enough people are interested in, we can definitely do a full Constitution revision. But right now, this is the only thing that's changed, and that's so we can continue to be an organization recognized by UNCG. Right. This is, yeah, it wasn't an issue before, but now the university is focusing in on this being part of all constitutions. Okay, I'm going to take that as no objections. This is going to be added to our official constitution. And if in the future we want to call a constitutional review, I definitely am open to that. So here. Next, we're going to be going over some budget numbers, and Krista's going to take that over. That's way better. Okay.
This, that won't move. All right. So I don't know how transparent in years past that GSA has been with the exact budget and everything, but I want to be as transparent as possible to show you guys the exact numbers. So for this year's budget, we have $74,000. In our bylaws, it's been that the PDF, RCF has gotten about 75%, officer salaries roughly 20%, programming 3%, and then leadership travel 2%. As I went through many documents throughout our Google Drives, these numbers have never actually been at these percentages. I think these were more of the original bylaws, and as GSA has transitioned into trying to be more of an advocate and do more programming, because graduate school can be so isolating in a ton of different ways. And that's why programming has increasingly gotten more from the budget. COVID also had transitioned that as well, especially due to the travel ban and stuff, and us not even leaving the country to do any international as well as just conferences in general. So what programming would get if we stayed by these exact guidelines is barely $1,000. No event can happen with $1,000 unless we're talking, let's see, maybe a food truck for only a certain percentage of people. We're talking really minimal numbers, which would be really unfortunate. In the past several years, including, there was only 1 year that the budget was available to me prior to COVID, and we had done a Halloween event, and that event alone cost roughly $4,800. So I played with the numbers, and if we gave just a little bit less to PDF and rerouted that to programming, that would allow us to have an actual fun event where all of the graduate students could be involved. Yes.
What is PDF?
So that's the professional development fund. Yes. And then the RCF is the research capstone fund. These on the website, they have it broken down as to what each one are and what they actually mean. The next General Assembly meeting, I'll be a lot more specific. And that brings me to, let's see here. We are opening the fall funding window a little earlier, I think, than in times past. So we're going to try something a little bit new and have 2 separate windows. So this first window is just going to be a week, and it's going to open on October 10th at 8 a.m. All of this is on info ready, or will be. It'll be on that day in the morning, and it'll close that Friday at 5 p.m. And so, as I mentioned, you can do the RCF, the Research Capstone Fund, or the Professional Development Fund. So we'll talk about financial committees and all that stuff later as to who's going to help with that. Because there are a few things that we need to discuss, such as, do we want to keep these numbers as definitive? Because I've gotten lots of emails asking what's the exact number that I can get if I apply for this funding. Whereas other individuals are like, hey, like I put all this effort into applying. I feel like it's kind of unfair not to at least get something towards, all the hard work I put into this and the conference or whatever it may be. So things like that are going to hopefully be discussed, whoever helps me in the financial committee. But for this specific first open window, we are going to keep it at the 300 for the research capstone and then the 500 for the professional development. we'll talk about the next window when it comes to it. Keep in mind, I don't think any online graduate students can apply for this, to my knowledge, unfortunately, because they do not pay the actual fees for this particular thing. And then you are all here, so you are representing your departments, which makes you eligible, as well as the students in your department, to apply for this type of funding.
We have a question in the chat.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Sarah wants to know if the online students can pay the fee and then have access.
As far as I know, there is no option. That is actually a great question for Dr. Bell, though. We can bring it to his attention, or yeah, you can either bring it to his attention or we can. It's entirely up to you and your preference.
And then we
Yeah.
have another clarifying question about the 15, if that means 15, the number of people.
So roughly, it depends, because if someone only needs $100, that leaves $200 for someone else that could potentially be doing it. These numbers are not definitive. Keep in mind, we're having two funding windows this fall. So it's roughly going to be about 30 people per type of fund. And if not enough individuals are using all of the money allotted for like the research capstone, it will be rerouted to the PDF and things like that. If that answers your question. Okay.
And then there's one more question from Sarah. If there is any body that represents online grad students.
I mean, it is us, like we still represent all graduate students. But it's, you know, our fee money, not the students who pay fees. So we'll still represent you all, but.
Keep in mind that that's another reason why I don't think the funding itself, one, it's capped because of the fees, but that's why I like the programming, right? A lot of the programming goes into all the different events, but also the GSA, so the Graduate Student Appreciation Week, the Halloween events, any type of food trucks, or even like I know this past spring during GSA, we did the food event and we gave out bags and stuff like that. All of that's for all graduate students, and not just being like, hey, only the on-site students can get this funding. So kind of rerouting it so that everyone has an opportunity to be more included. And then, yes.
Previously, there was some stipulation whether it was virtual or in-person that we do now either virtual or in-person.
It is still the hybrid. So whether it's in person or virtual, that's still going to be an option as to the funding opportunity. This fall window, I forgot to mention this, only includes July 1st to the end of December. This is the exact funding window for it. I know different departments have been like, hey, like all my travel stuff has to be within 30 days of once I travel and things like that. That's more of a departmental thing that you'll have to ask them. Let's say if you had a conference in July and they're like, hey, you needed all that stuff in and you should have gotten that money, the department, GSA can still transfer it to the department and they can reimburse you. It should not be any issue.
The forms that need to be filled in, will they be available for
They should already be there. So the only form that's not available is the application questions, which have you done the application questions before? Oh, okay. Yeah, so I will make
Can
sure
you
all
repeat
those
the
forms are.
question for those of us on Zoom? We can't hear the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. She was saying a lot of the forms are not online readily available because she's an international student, because typically if you're I'm not even just an in-state, but if you're like a US citizen, there's less forms for you to fill out. So typically it's like the TRV one that any citizen has to fill out, and then anyone who's international has several other forms. So I'll try to make sure that they're on there, because I'm trying to do that all this month so that they're already set to go before October even happens. I'm having some run-ins with info ready right now. And then there are some examples up that Claire did, the previous GSA treasurer, for filling out some of those forms, but I'm going to try to make it more specific so that everyone can be like on the dot, and those forms shouldn't be a problem. I know the application itself has a couple questions, but that shouldn't take you more than like 20-30 minutes. So it's just the forms that are the barrier, and I'll make sure they're up there. Yes.
Do we have to, move afterwards?
So it has to be at least a rough estimate. Oh, yes, sorry. She was asking if any of the, like if she has to book the flight or anything prior to applying for the application. The answer is no. You have to at least give an estimate of how much it would cost and put that on a form. Especially because in the previous years, you have to say, why am I flying versus driving cost wise? Because typically, you know, flying's a lot better for so many reasons, but yeah, you don't have to.
What do you think the turnaround time would be for getting this?
Would you like to be on my committee? So it entirely depends. I'm thinking with help, it'll take about a week. Just because if I do these application windows, I'm thinking roughly 40 or so people may apply. And then anyone who doesn't get funding for this window or whatever can always resubmit for the next window as well. Say that one more time for me.
Any grad student.
Yeah, any graduate student whatsoever. So that includes any master's or PhD students can apply for this as long as they're represented by you guys in the department. All right. We're good.
I just wanted to keep the ball rolling because we have a few more topics to get through. If you have any other questions about that, stick around. We'll be here for a minute. But we're gonna go ahead and move on. The next thing that we're going to talk about is committee appointments and the sign up for volunteers for these committees. Finance committee.
Hello, hello. Okay, I won't make you all talk about your committees unless you desire to, if you'd like to. So there's 3 GSA committees. All of this information is on the website in the Constitution. But these are sort of our main bodies for like getting work. This is why it's important. Sort of your responsibilities as senators is to sort of participate on these in addition to our assembly meetings. So we won't hear from the finance committee again, but if you are interested in or have experience with these applications, especially as international students, other students will have these issues year after year. So it's important that like we help our treasurer kind of deal with this workload. So we're trying out these new models just to sort of like spread, you know, some of the pain across the semester. But if you are interested or have experience, please reach out to us. We'll send out a form to the senators, but we'll hear from Vice President on the programming committee.
Yeah, so as in my role as the Vice President, I also am the chair of the programming committee. I need help to run these events. So there's a lot of work going into the planning, the actual execution of the events, even just like the physical, like moving one like swag from one place to another, that all takes work. So I would appreciate if there would be a few senators that would be willing to work with me on a committee to make sure that these events run successfully and everyone can enjoy them. I'm shooting for one event for the fall, and then most of the focus of the spring will be on making sure that the Graduate Student Appreciation Week runs smoothly, and I'm hoping to reach out to different departments across campus, like the graduate school, Dr. Bell, and then different like organizations. I'm hoping to not just put it all on the GSA. So reaching out to those different organizations, maybe the committee can split the weight of that. So if you would like to work with me, planning events, having a say on what we're doing, then please join my committee.
So yeah, planning events, creating community, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. There's a question.
Events that you put on as a yearly or that you've done in the past that you want to continue?
So the question was, is there an event that we do yearly or something that we want to continue? I envision continuing on with the October sort of Halloween party that has happened the past few years. That's been really fun. There's costume contests and prizes and stuff. That's what I'm kind of shooting for. But if there are people on my committee that have other ideas, I'm open to them. So, yeah.
Okay.
And then we have Ashley with the Student Engagement Committee.
Yeah, it's been kind of finicky. So I will run the Student Engagement Committee. We focus on issues relating to well, anything you guys want really, but in the past it's been housing, transportation, especially now that we're all kind of coming back from COVID, and parking passes are a little crazy. That might be an issue or an issue worth discussing. You know, health insurance, anything you guys want to further engage on. So that's what I'll run. But yeah.
So I was the student relations chair last year, and that's sort of like, you know, trying to continue that, like, how can GSA be a better advocate for graduate students? So any sort of policy questions, and I'll talk about this with them. We have several university-wide committees. So I sit on the faculty senate with Ashley. There's a couple of subcommittees. So if you have policy questions or if you're just super excited about advocating for graduate students, they have, you know, extra meetings that you can attend to. We would love help because the more people, the more graduate students that speak up in them, you know, I, you know, can only do so much for the 3,000 or so graduate students here at UNCG. But I would love help. You know, you can come to us, your students will reach out to you. We will reach out to the faculty senate. Like, you know, this is kind of our avenue for change. The graduate council, you see, we already have a volunteer on Zoom earlier, but, you know, we had a lot of questions last week about insurance, you know, something that, you know, affects all graduate students. So if there's something, you know, that's not going well or something that is going well that, you know, you want to continue, you know, volunteer to serve on these committees. There's the Student Government Association. So they're sort of like the actual policy building body. This is sort of just an assembly for resources for graduate students. You know, we want to be a voice, but, you know, there are a lot of venues on campus to sort of go through. If you have any questions with them, see me after, reach out to me. We're going to send out a form. And then if you sort of volunteer for these university-wide committees, there's an extra commitment, you know, I'll talk to you and then we'll put you on them. But yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what exactly the faculty senate is compared to like the graduate council? Like, what's the difference between those two? Yeah,
I'll be brief. The faculty senate, both of them have representatives from all of the departments, but the faculty senate advocates for the faculty, and, you know, I like to think of us as like future faculty in some sense, or we're working with them. You have the staff senate, the faculty senate, but it is sort of, you know, they're discussing sort of the same policy questions, whether or not they, you know, implement them. The graduate council is a smaller body, and that one is sort of, I don't know, Naglaa will probably speak to her experience with it. But any of those, yeah, it's just different voices for different faculty at different levels. It's, you know, a very federalized system, like lots of committees. But yeah, the faculty senate is a larger body. It's harder to kind of get a word in edgewise with them, but the graduate council is a really important body. And so, you know, we meet a few times a semester. So if there's any burning issues, like, you know, it's better to bring them up sooner rather than later. You know, if we're going to implement something that's going to affect all graduate students, it's going to take time. And, you know, something that the GSA suffers from is institutional memory. So, you know, officers will come and go, committees will come and go, but, you know, it's hard to like keep this train moving, you know, while we're herding cats. So I'd love to build some long lasting programs, but I need your help as the senators. So that's my goal and wish. But if you have questions, see us after. I want to keep this going.
And we did have.
Oh,
a few, but,
yeah. I'll do-
One question was, are policy issues ever discussed at General Assembly meetings, or is that only done within the committees? And the other is, are graduate council meetings open meetings?
I don't believe graduate council meetings are open meetings. I think because sometimes there is sensitive information discussed in them. I can ask, but faculty senate meetings are open. It's on their website, just UNCG Faculty Senate. The question was, oh, policy issues ever discussed here. So in the past, this body is not, we have 1 hour. We're trying to get you all done at 5. So in 16 minutes, I'll be quick. We can create time. If someone, these committees will, if you serve on these committees, we'll have a committee report. That's sort of like the vibe we want to go for. Hopefully you would bring those up in committee meetings. So again, join a committee. We can discuss them. We'd love to report them because maybe like some department has something that another department needs or could use or benefit from. In the past, yeah, we've just not been structured for, this is not a legislative body. That would be student government or the Association of Student Governments. There's a lot of actual policy bodies. We just sit on various committees and councils. So if you'd like to structure GSA as that, as a senator, that's your right. It's, your responsibility. Otherwise, we'll, bring in speakers, present information. Here's a funding window, but, we are only 4 people. We'll do what you want, but, it's hard to do everything. So, okay, with that, see me after with other questions. So, senator responsibilities. I'm sorry, do you want me to do it? Okay, thank you. No, I'm up here. Basically just attend meetings. If your department's not represented, there's no funding. It's like, so we're sorry to your students, but you didn't show up. A lot of people need help. We can't help everybody. So attend meetings, reach out to your departments. We will present information. So like counseling center, the dean has said things. Your job is to go back to your departments. You can use a listserv, reach to your program director. Take this information to your students because they will benefit from it too. It can't just, us and the senators. We don't want that. We don't want that body. So yeah, your job is to represent your departments. So you volunteered for this, or maybe your program director kind of roped you into it, like mine did 2 years ago. So yeah, just speak up, speak for graduate students. So I can't think of anything. Read the Constitution. Your responsibilities are in there. That's your homework. Oh, sorry, I just did all of this. So advertise, participate, inform. Got it. Within your department. Yeah, it's everything we've been saying is your job to sort of like listen to us, take this information, sit on a committee, work something out. Yeah, we got you guys. I'm not gonna do this. It's the same thing. We've done a lot of things in the past. That's them. Naglaa, our former president, Madame la Présidente.
Can I see the people on Zoom, please? I like to move. I think I am a misdiagnosed ADHD, but I love to move. Because I heard Rose, wow, the greatest. She's the greatest graduate student ever. Can we do it full screen? Khalas, take my name out. I am out. You see, I miss the great people here. Terry, how are you? You place me wherever you want, Amanda.
Hello.
So you guys get up. How are you? It's great to be here. I'm so grateful to your kind invitation, Alex, Krista, Amanda, and the beautiful Ashley. It's a pleasure to be back again. I know some of the people on Zoom and some in the room. So I will introduce myself. I have many hats on this campus. So my first hat is a graduate student. I am a PhD student in the Department of Public Health Education. This is my 2nd year, but also I'm staff here. I work here. You work here, correct? No? Okay. So I am a full-time staff at UNCG. I was working at the Center for New North Carolinians. Some people say, what is that? It is a great center at UNCG that serves immigrants and refugees. But I'm moving next week to another great center called Center for Youth, Family, and Community Partnerships. I will come closer to you, Amanda. You know what I will be doing? I am working on a pilot project with the state of North Carolina on enhanced mobile crisis units that will support our mental health. Amanda is amazing, huge expertise in Ohio in mental health. This is a secret about her. So this is my second hat. My third and beloved hat, I was the president of the Graduate Student Association for 2 years. It was such a great experience, and being here again is such a pleasure, and I'm so grateful to see you all. No more hats, okay? You don't need to be told that I am a mother of 3 kids who are driving me crazy and on my feet the whole day, but you know, I'm grateful for all of that. When Amanda said, can you come talk to us? I said, Amanda, what do you want me to tell them? I can tell all the secrets about GSA. If you have a question that you want an honest answer, come to me. But I kept thinking, what do you guys want me to tell you about GSA? Give me ideas, please. Give me ideas. Maurice, what do you want me to tell you about your GSA? Maurice is my favorite friend and person from communication disorders, and Metra. I love Metra because Metra and myself are international students. I used to be international student. I'm originally from Egypt. Metra is from a great country called Iran, so I love international students. Alex, your president, speaks Arabic. I can't say anything confidential in Arabic in front of him. So I can tell you the secrets, the untold stories. I can do that, and definitely reach out to me. I love to talk, and I will be sharing with you everything. But what came to my mind, I wanted to offer you something useful for you guys. Why GSA? It's 4 o'clock, and we are sitting in a Senate meeting, and really a lot of presentations, and I am hungry. And why GSA? Why you guys are here? Yes, the funding. Yes, Krista will give you the money. Yes, the funding is important. I know that. But can you do it beyond the funding? Can you make this experience beyond the funding? Yes, definitely. What you want to do with GSA, making it the best and the useful experience for you guys. What do you want to do? And is this place really a good place? I can say yes. Rose Ewald, why you keep coming to the GSA while being now a PhD student in ERM? Why? Tell us why. Rose Ewald is my very close friend. Why GSA for you is good? Rose is a great researcher. She is working on disability and how college campuses are accessible to disabled students. She is a wonderful resource as a graduate student. Whenever you have an idea or a research topic regarding disability and access, Rose Ewald, Rose, she's phenomenal. And this is for me what GSA is. Really, it's not only that I love to talk, I love to connect. If I will leave you today with one message, connect, connect, connect. You know why? Because connections will open doors for you, will make the presence in this room enjoyable. I will tell you a secret. You know who was my reference applying for my new job? Dr. Gregory Bell. How did you do that? I connected with him as advisor for GSA. Connect with Amanda. She can be your reference. Krista, connect with her committee. You will learn a lot about finances. And for you, when we graduate, nobody teaches us in our programs about grants, financing, or money management. Join Krista to learn. Why not? Open your eyes to this space. If you are here anyway, make it the best. Please make it the best. Why I came to GSA? I had a secret agenda that I didn't share with anybody. And my agenda was empowerment. As you see, I am a person who is from a diverse cultural background, a woman of color, as they call me here in the US, Alex. So I wanted to empower myself. I wanted to be a leader and to be seen as a leader. And GSA was the only space that gave me the opportunity to do that. I was empowered here, and you all could be empowered here. But please bring your voice. You know what I did? I took the initiative. When I ran as a president for GSA, Lexi was running as a president. I said, okay, Lexi, let's make a deal. I want to be the president, and you can be the vice president. Really, I am talking serious fact. Lexi is the best, is a great person. She is from biology department as well. She said, Naglaa, I can give you this position if you say to me why. Lexi is a huge support for diversity. I told her I want to convey a message that GSA could be led by a person of color, a woman, a mother, a student, a staff. Because usually it is all the respect to our leaders, but sometimes you don't see this diversity. I want myself to be an encouragement for every one of you. Jump in, but please try to be proactive to achieve what you want to achieve through GSA. You want more money, be with Krista in the finance committee. We want 2 Halloween parties. You have to be in the programming committee, because Amanda, otherwise, if she's on her own, she will do, her own, party and her own thing. Okay? Student engagement. Ashley is amazing. I work with Ashley. She's our GA. This is another secret. So I'm biased. So I mean, whatever you are here, why? But make this impactful, enjoyable, and you can. Definitely you can. I know I worked with Alex. Whenever you have an issue or a concern, confidential or not, share it with them. Because, for example, graduate councils, you guys cannot attend the meetings. Yes, it is closed. But who can take your concern as is and present it? It's Alex and Terry, the other representative. So please, yes, don't sit in the room feeling bored. They talk a lot. I don't understand a lot of things. Yes, when we started GSA, we didn't understand what all those committees, how to survive in those committees. It's not easy. It's not easy. Learning is okay, but really GSA is such a great space if you want to empower yourself, if you want to have a voice, if you want to lead, if you want to get money to travel to conferences, yes. If you want to present, if you want to know what's going on with those committees, if you want to make problems and change this campus, it is GSA. Please, don't be quiet. I want you to go to them and say, we have issues. Let's talk. Keep them busy. They are already busy. The e-board is already busy. But definitely, our campus is a great place, but there are a lot of things that could change. And I can tell you, sometimes we say, nobody will listen to us. Maurice, nobody will listen to students. No, we are powerful. Your voice as a student is way powerful than my voice as a staff now. They don't listen to me. And when they don't listen to me, Krista, I put the hat of graduate student. Okay, put the staff hat on the side. I am a graduate student paying fees. At that time, they listen because we pay them to keep this running for us. My goodness, Amanda, I love to talk, but at the second board, you have to stop me. Yes, before 5. Yes, I will be fast. Any questions? Anything you want to know? Any secret? Tell me anything you want to know. I know those people. I can tell you all the, yes.
And the Student Government Association was also speaking of the graduate student association about increasing access to the grants around campus. Have you guys know anything about that? Could somebody talk to me about that?
This is such a great topic, and definitely it is for our e-board to update us on that. But the previous e-board, and I know Alex is a committed person to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I know that he is very well connected on this campus in regard to disability. And I can tell you, Alex, right now, Rose Ewald, one of the other secrets, is working tirelessly with the Student Government Association to develop more things related to disability. Rose knows a lot, Alex, and she is working on great things. And I think Alex can maybe invite Rose to tell us what's going on, Rose. What is about your new initiative? She is doing great things on this campus, and she is us. Rose is a graduate student like you and me. And because she was in my program and left me and went to ERM, I know how persistent she is. As a student, don't expect all your suggestions and initiatives to be taken nicely. You have to fight for what you believe in. Please be persistent with any issue, a policy, a program. Put yourself in, put your energy in, and I tell you, be persistent and you will achieve whatever you want. Rose, you want to say something? I'm cutting everybody off today
Sure.
because it is 5.
Sure. There are a couple of initiatives that I'm working on that we would like to have student engagement with. I will be happy to come and talk to SGA about that, or GSA
So
about
please
that.
connect
at
with the
any point.
e-board, Rose, and you guys discuss this. I
Sure.
will leave them with one message. Use this space, enjoy it, make it enjoyable, because our life as graduate students is a lot. Enjoy this, make it your own. Benefit from GSA, money, but so many things else. It's a pleasure being here.
I will run with the chocolate cakes.
So Naglaa was our last speaker, so, and it also is 5:01. So. Was there anything else? No, no. Motion to adjourn. And I have a second, so we're going to be done now. Our next assembly meeting, October 3rd, 4 to 5 p.m. in this room. We'll see you then.